Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a very special episode of the Metal Meltdown. I am speaking with Blothar The Berserker from legendary shock rock heavy metal crew GWAR. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
All right.
The sun is shining. I'm stuck inside, but the sun is shining, so that's always a good thing. And yeah. How are you excited for the new record?
Yeah. Are you up in Canada?
Yes, I'm up in Toronto.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, the new record. It's a blast, man. Loving it.
Wonderful. I want to talk quickly. Yes, thank you, Zoom. Jesus. How do I get technical issues now in the midst of all this? My God. Anyways, last fall, you played Scum Dogs of the Universe in its entirety on tour. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was fun. The tunes are very familiar, and they're not quite as frantic as they are later on in our career. There's still some up-tempo tunes, but it felt really good. It was like putting on an old pair of sneakers to do those songs, and it was a lot of fun, and people love it. The audience responds right before they die a horrible death. You can tell that they're really having a good time.
I saw you guys when you came through to Toronto with Napalm Death, and I can tell you everyone in the crowd was having an absolute blast. That specific show, too, that was one of the first rock or metal concert to happen here in Toronto for over a year and a half. So for a lot of us, that was a very cathartic night. Would you say the same for GWAR? Did you know that was like the first metal show in Toronto in like 18 months?
Well, we didn't know that, but, it was every GWAR show is cathartic for us. Living through to the other side is the important thing.
Mm-hmm. During your shows, you kill numerous politicians. You've written songs about killing the president, so don't take this as me being offended, because I don't. I'm Canadian. But during that same Toronto show, you killed Joe Biden as he came on stage with a COVID-19 vaccine. Were you at all concerned about how certain groups of people might interpret this?
Well, no. I mean, we frankly don't give a shit what people interpret it as. It's
that's beautiful to hear.
That's what we wanted to do, and that's what we did, and that's what GWAR does. So I mean, Biden comes on with a giant needle and runs around trying to vaccinate everybody. But I mean, GWAR has always poked fun at any politician, any political issue. GWAR is on the side of chaos, so we're not necessarily interested in what one group or the other thinks or doesn't. That's what GWAR would do. I mean, if there's giant if there's a giant needle to be had, we're going to stick ourselves with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it didn't surprise me when I saw that, because, I mean, I've seen videos. You guys have killed, if I'm not mistaken, since GWAR has existed, you've killed almost every sitting U.S. president and a bunch of other politicians like Al Gore and stuff like that. So I wasn't at all bothered. Plus, again, I'm Canadian. I don't really care that much. But I do remember...
Hold on. Is that a giant dog behind you?
A giant dog? No, this is a blanket.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no giant dog. Although there's plenty of, like, my fiance collects all kinds of different bones and shit like that. So no dogs, but there is an alligator skull. A bunch of shit that I just dropped.
8-foot-long dog.
It kind of does, actually, now that I think about it. Giant dog. We'd love to have a dog, but it's a tiny little apartment. He'd go nuts in here.
Oh, yeah. Especially if he was 8 feet long.
Yeah, I think I would complain if I had an 8-foot-long dog as well. That's understandable.
Can you imagine the coils he would leave on the lawn?
Oh, God, yeah. I've got a friend, Victoria. I used to work with her at the Brickwork Cider House, and she has this like massive Great Dane, and apparently she can't leave this thing alone for more than a couple hours because it just destroys the apartment and just leaves stuff around.
Yeah, I'm sure. Volkswagen sized dumps.
Going back to the show, have you ever had anyone complain about the stunts and the stuff that you do on stage? I mean, I assume you have, but is there anything specific that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, we've been arrested for doing things on stage. We've been had the show stopped at various times. The ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, has taken cases for GWAR on more than one occasion. Yeah, I mean, people get upset. We had our very first European tour. The majority of the English dates were canceled because people objected to what we were doing on stage. So yeah, I mean, that's something that we're very familiar with.
What about the amount of like blood and gore and bodily fluid? Because as much as I've always liked GWAR, I didn't actually know much about that when I saw the show. So I was like kind of thrown off guard when all of a sudden, like barely 5 seconds into the first song, I'm being sprayed with a bunch of blood.
Well, that's the great thing about GWAR.
Good thrown off guard, mind you. Like I felt like I was in the middle of like Evil Dead or something like that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And that's what it's supposed to feel like. And that, probably the greatest thing about being in GWAR is taking the show to people who haven't seen it before, because they really lose their minds. And it's fun to watch.
It's so cool. The only thing is that me and Anna thought of this afterwards. We're like, we wish we had worn white suits. That way we could leave just basically looking like a gory rainbow, just covered in blue and green and red liquids. And we got a lot of weird looks on the streetcar going home, but it was a really amazing night for sure.
Yeah, that's what happens. And occasionally we'll stop into, a white castle after a show, and it'll be packed full of blue Smurfs that have just been sprayed with GWAR blood. It's always interesting to see.
This new album coming up, The New Dark Ages, this is your second album with GWAR. Do you ever still feel kind of weird 8 years later singing in place of Oderus Urungus, taking his position as lead singer, as the frontman?
Well, I mean, I don't feel weird about it. I feel more and more confident about it. It's it was a big loss to lose Oderus, so it's something that's on our minds always. But we really feel like this is what he would want, it is for the band to move forward and keep doing things, and for the his old comrades in arms to still have something to do. So we feel right about it. We still feel right about it. And as I said, it feels more right all the time. GWAR's put 15 albums out, so it's not really like we know how to do much else.
That's true. I couldn't picture GWAR just going into like starting an insurance company or something like that,
yeah.
or seeing Pustulus Maximus at the local car dealership trying to sell a Honda Civic or something.
Yeah, Pustulus Plumbing.
That does have a nice ring to it. Credit where it's due.
It really does.
As more to the actual point of the album itself, I got this from a press release. It deals with GWAR battling a timeless evil that is threatening mankind's evolution by polarizing it with technology, resulting in the Duoverse. What exactly is the Duoverse, and how does GWAR intend to deal with it?
Well, the Duoverse is like the multiverse, but it's a little shittier. Because there's only two of them. It's definitely GWAR's version of an alternate reality, and they used to only have one. Now they've got, or two. Now they've got, it's like a faceted eternal diamond with a million different possibilities. And that's probably, from a scientific point of view, that's more likely. But we wanted to keep it down to just one stupid duo-verse, right? Like the old days in the comics when, it's not like Superman, there's not a million Supermans, or unlimited numbers of Supermans. There's just one bad Superman.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where we got that from and what that story's about. There's one alternate universe that exists parallel to this one, and in that alternate universe, there is an eviler GWAR, if you can imagine.
A more evil GWAR.
Yeah, evil.
So do they
GWAR.
kill like two presidents
GWAR
on stage? How does that work?
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna have through the process of mitosis, we will split into two, and there will definitely be an appearance by the evil GWAR, not on the tour that we're getting ready to do, but on the tour that we do for the album. You're going to see more of that. This tour coming up is more of a wrestling themed show.
Oh, interesting. How will that work? I didn't even hear about this.
GWAR's always done, we're very influenced by professional wrestling. We influence professional wrestling ourselves. We're going to set up a ring and kick each other's asses. That's basically what's going to happen. And we'll bring up some clowns like Vladimir Putin and, who else? I don't know. Maybe your prime minister will make an appearance.
Justin
around.
Trudeau. That'd be an interesting match. I can't imagine Trudeau stands much of a chance realistically, but it would be interesting to see irregardless.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea is that you guys will play your music while politicians and perhaps other GWAR characters from the GWAR universe duke it out.
That's right. Yeah.
That sounds really exciting. Mm-hmm. That almost sounds like some kind of pay-per-view shit. That sounds awesome. It's been about 6 years since the last GWARBQ was held, and it sounds like you guys have pretty ambitious plans for this wrestling thing, but are there any plans for like a future kind of GWARBQ?
Well, yeah, definitely. There will definitely be a GWARBQ. It will have a return. It's just we've been waiting for the right moment. Obviously, the pandemic slowed things down and made things happen at a different pace. But the GWARBQ will certainly make a return, and it still exists in our hearts and minds. Every day is GWARBQ.
That's a great attitude to have.
Yes.
Hey, if people show up at the venue with barbecue ribs and a bunch of beer, then that's basically, GWARBQ right there.
Yeah. Or even just, like a hamburger and chlamydia.
Specifically chlamydia. We could admit the hamburger, but the chlamydia's gotta be there.
Yeah, that and acne.
Are there any other kind of like big events that GWAR is planning for the future aside from a potential GWARBQ?
We have our world tour coming up. So that's exciting. And then we have, we're playing some festivals. But our, as far as specific plans, we have, there's going to be a big celebration shindig. We have a documentary that's coming out. So when that's released,
cool.
That's going to be party time, rock and roll. So who knows? Maybe we'll be on the red carpet strutting our stuff.
You guys can premiere that at a big film festival somewhere. You get like all the Hollywood starlets coming out, your Scarlett Johanssons and your whoever the hells. And then out comes GWAR, roll out maybe not a red carpet. Red because blood, but I like to imagine that the GWAR red carpet is made up of like old sirloin steaks that have been stapled together or something like that.
Yeah. No matter what color the carpet is, it's going to be red. So
you guys have also sold a lot of really interesting merch over the years. Comic books, barbecue sauce, CBD gummies and edibles. On the Gutfeld show on Fox last year, you also talked about making sex toys.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the progress of that, but I'd also like to know what other kind of crazy GWAR toys and devices may be coming up in the future?
Well, the humans always want us to make dolls so they can play with them. And we will make dolls eventually. We're trying. We've tried several times. It's hard to enslave enough children to get the dolls made. But now that globalism has opened the market to tiny little hands the world over, we're hoping that we can produce some good toys for people. Now, as far as the sex toys go, first of all, let's think about the dolls thing. I mean, a GWAR playset, like the old Planet of the Apes treehouse playset, that would be great. And I want Blothar to have a motorcycle that you wind up like old Evel Knievel used to have, and then you let it loose.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, you could give him like a little Hot Wheels loop-de-loop thing too that he can like do tricks and shit on. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to convince Hasbro or Mattel that GWAR is worth taking a chance on, as well as the entire future of their company once they put out this obscene product. But so those are the problems that we face. But as the world changes and there's more opportunities like that, we'll be taking them. As far as the sex toys go, it's coming. It really is.
I had a feeling you were going to use that exact word, and yet somehow I'm thrown off guard by it.
Yeah, coming soon.
Just
like me, too much medication. Forever these days.
Is that going to be the overall? You'll put one day on Facebook or Instagram or some shit. There'll be like a really cryptic, phallic image, and just coming soon in like big, bold white letters.
Yeah, that's exactly white letters.
It's like a black backdrop, white letters. Maybe there's a little bit of like a kind of a liquidy kind of drop, so it looks extra.
Spell it out in cum.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're trying to say.
And when someone gives you a problem, you're just like, it's not cum, it's natural bodily fluid. Exactly.
Liquid cocaine.
Liquid cocaine, absolutely. It's so fucking weird. I love this though. This is fucking fantastic. What are some other big things that you personally want to do with GWAR, like in the future? Are there any like crazy tours you'd like to assemble? Any like crazy stunts you'd like to do on stage that you haven't done before?
Well, I mean, of course, we would always like to build the GWAR show into something that is absolutely mind-numbing. Mm-hmm. We would love to eventually find a way to actually light the entire stage on fire and consume ourselves in purifying flame. I think that would be spectacular.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, we would like to just, simultaneously kill everybody in the audience with one note. That would be great. Talk about the brown note. Screw the brown note.
The red note.
Death note.
The death note. There you go. It almost sounds like something out of like the Metalocalypse TV show or something.
No, Metalocalypse sounds like something out of a GWAR show. That's a more accurate comparison. Yeah.
If that ever happens, like if that becomes a regular thing, people will be like, "Wait, you went to a GWAR show and survived? You fucking poser! What's wrong with you?"
Exactly.
I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. Once again, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you, Blothar. One thing I've always loved about the GWAR aesthetic is that it's really campy and over the top and crazy and bloody and violent, and it's always kind of reminded me of like Sam Raimi B-movie horror stuff. I even mentioned Evil Dead earlier. Has GWAR ever really considered doing like maybe a gigantic kind of exploitation horror film, like a really gnarly serial killer flick, something like that? Because I feel like that would just fit everything y'all are about so well.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, we would love to do that. Somebody give us the money. We'll do it.
I'll call Sam Raimi up right now. Be like, "What are you doing next? Screw Marvel. We got GWAR on the phone."
Making a live action GWAR GWAR movie would be great. And we've made a couple. Of course, they're completely unintelligible, but they're out there. So, go and see them. And I think that in the future we will do that.
Hell yeah, that would be awesome. It could be like, you could do like a 4D kind of thing. Like everyone shows up to the theater. They have like little things like when you go to a Disneyland ride or some shit and they spray like, oh, it's Ariel's bubble beam or whatever, but instead it's Odoris's blood cannon or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've also thought about maybe getting a Broadway show and then, putting it, or even Vegas,
Okay.
just a regular gig on the Strip.
Vegas makes a lot of sense, honestly. Like that would be really, really cool.
It tracks for GWAR for sure.
Like a big, I mean, you see like the big rock bands like the Def Leppard, Scorpions, Guns N' Roses doing those huge residencies a lot. I'd love to see what GWAR could do with like that kind of budget and that kind of production. That would be wild.
Yeah.
Once again, Blothar, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here. Any final words for the people watching the Metal Meltdown today?
Yeah. Fuck you. Come see GWAR, you stooges.
You heard them, ladies and gentlemen. Go see GWAR. You got no excuse. They got a tour coming up. There's going to be more tours coming up. New album, New Dark Ages, comes out in June. I'm not technically allowed to talk about it, but I have heard bits and pieces of it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thank you again,
to talk about it. To talk about the album, of course you can talk about it.
I was told by a PR lady that I wasn't allowed to talk about it until a certain date.
Oh, well.
But if I have your permission, then that changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. It's a great record,
PR
folks.
lady was. Is that a picture of her back there on your wall?
Where?
Is that your PR lady? Oh, no, that's Dave Mustaine.
Yeah. I think I'd be in a lot of trouble if Dave Mustaine was my PR person. I think I'd be in trouble every other day of the week.
Okay.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Metal Meltdown. Press this button to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out GWAR if for some reason you don't know anything about them and this is your first time hearing about them. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.